You wake up first thing in the morning. You get out of bed, go to your window, open up the curtain, sunshine blasts on your face. You see the deep blue sky, you take a deep breath in, and then all of a sudden, 1,000,001 thoughts of what could go wrong or why you're not good enough start rolling in. You turn and look back to your bed and think to yourself, man, I just want to crawl back into bed. Those thoughts, feelings, I get it. The cripplingness of anxiety is not a fun thing to deal with. In this video, I'm going to share with you a tool that my coach shared with me a couple years ago that helped empower me to be able to step out of identifying as an anxious person into the power of owning my life, feeling the feelings without actually becoming the feelings. But before I get into this little tool, I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future amazing content. I am Coach Wolverine, the owner and the creator of the Wolverine Lifestyle and co-host to another channel called A Conversation Over Drinks. I'm a mindset coach, and my goal is to help you overcome your victim mindset to find your inner peace and authentic self. Anxiety is something that I have battled with all of my life. I was always known as the worrier. I grew up being told that I was the devil's advocate for the bad. Every time somebody came up with an analogy or a scenario or a situation, I always looked to what could go wrong as opposed to what could go right. I led my entire life with this identity of anxiety. And that's the trick right there. As soon as we say the words, I am this, we are creating an identity around that. I created an identity around being an anxious-ridden person, around being a depressed person, to the point where I was medicated for anxiety and depression, and I hated it. I do not agree with medication for a feeling. I will understand I'm going to get some flack for that statement. Just hear me out for a bit. When we identify with something, when we say or think, I am this, we rewrite the narrative we tell ourselves to support why that statement is true. So with anxiety, if we say, I am an anxious person, we will find X, Y, and Z to support why we are an anxious person. And we will continuously lead a life looking for more reasons to support why we're an anxious person. At the bare root of it, what is anxiety? It's a feeling. Anxiety is a feeling. I know how crippling anxiety is. I do. I've been so anxious-ridden where I've had to curl up in a ball in the corner of my bedroom because that was the only place that I felt safe. I've been so anxious-ridden that I had an adrenaline rush going so heavy, so fast, so hard that I couldn't talk properly because I was shivering, that I was so anxious for what was going to happen next. Please understand that I get it. This is why I know that you can overcome this anxiety too, because I was able to overcome this anxiety. As promised, the tool that my coach gave me was a simple little cartoon image analogy. Imagine the feelings that we feel, especially when we physically feel them here. Imagine that as a check engine light, very similar to the dashboard of your car. And you're in your car, you're on the highway, but you're in the passenger seat. As we know, when we're feeling anxious, it feels like we're not in control. So in this analogy, we're in the passenger seat. We look over, and in the driver's seat, we have Sasquatch. He's sitting there doing his thing, but he's grumpy. He's very grumpy. Sasquatch is our anxiety. My question to you is, if you were to try and fight the steering wheel away from Sasquatch while he's driving around like a dickhead over all the potholes, driving into traffic and terrifying you, if you were to try and fight that steering wheel away from him, do you think that you were going to win? No. This is the exact same thing with anxiety. When we try and fight our anxiety, we're not going to win. It makes it worse. And it sucks. And we get down on ourselves for feeling anxious. And then we get mad at ourselves because we're feeling more anxious about something. And it's just this anxiety loop, like we just flushed the toilet, and it just gets worse, 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 and worse. Okay? So we're in the car. We're driving. Yeti, Sasquatch, Bomble Snowman, whatever title you want to give him, he's driving. He's driving like a dick. So we're sitting there in the passenger seat. We wait. We wait until Sasquatch makes the decision himself to pull the car over and park. And that's when we get back into the driver's seat and drive away, leaving Sasquatch behind. When we are feeling anxious, if we sit in the feeling and self-coach ourselves, hey, what is this feeling I'm feeling? Is this a legitimate feeling? Should I be feeling this anxiety? Can I fix this anxiety now? If any of it is no or unknown, you just sit in the feeling and marinate with it, and you become an observer of that anxiety. Because when we become an observer, we are not attached to it. And as we know, when we are attached to something like an identity, just like the identity we've created for ourselves as being an anxious person, we want to hold on to that. When we are sitting in that anxiety, we will look for more reasons to support why we should be feeling anxious. So if we take a step back and observe our feeling of being anxious, be like, man, this sucks. I don't like this. And then just do a self-scan. It's like, where is this anxiety coming from? Where is it rooted? And when you start looking into places of yourself as an observer, slowly but surely, you will start to not feel anxious, because an observer is not going to feel the same way as somebody that's holding an identity towards it. Because an observer, you're going to be thinking about that feeling in a critique state of mind. You will find the opportunities to look for ways to debunk why the anxiety doesn't need to be there anymore. Now, I'm not saying that anxiety is all bad. Anxiety is a programmed thing into us for survival. So when we feel anxious, it's because our body thinks that we're in danger of some sort. The thing is, 9.9 repeating times out of 10, we're not in any actual danger. We're in the worry of something that could potentially happen because we feel like we need to have control over everything, and we feel like that life is happening to us, not for us. So I encourage you to entertain this thought. What if you just sat in the anxiety as an observer and disassociate your identity from that anxiety? Let me know in the comments how that works for you. And if you are struggling with getting yourself into that mindset, send me an email, coach@thewolverinelifestyle.com. I would love to chat with you and figure out with you how to overcome your thoughts, how to overcome your identity around your thoughts. That's it for today, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Your support is beyond words of appreciation. Thank you. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.